Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for making time amidst your busy schedule and joining us in this webinar. We are very excited to demonstrate our core technology and how Defendry's aerial platform is helping public safety and law enforcement teams stop violence faster, safer, and easier with autonomous drones. I'm your host, Baishali. With me, I have my colleague, Achal, the Director of Business Development at FlytBase. And I'd go on to introduce the other panelists. I'm also very excited to introduce Skylar and Mario from the Defendry team as our panelists today. Skylar has successfully grown global channel partner sales in the wireline, wireless, voice and cloud industry since 2002. He has served in executive leadership roles for companies including Integra Telecom and Telesphere. When away from the office, Skylar enjoys spending time with his family and riding motorcycles. So welcome, Skylar. I also have with me Mario. Mario is a seasoned technology executive and entrepreneur with 30 years of experience in the development and commercialization of ideas, technology, software, and intellectual property. Since 2010, he has participated in the development of over 30 patents. Mario has been a principal and founder of companies developing products ranging from blockbuster video games to award-winning medical apps. He has also served as an advisor to entrepreneurs, startups, and established companies. In his spare time, he enjoys fishing, flying drones, and technology. So welcome once again, Skylar and Mario.
Thank you.
Before I pass it on to Achal, I would request all attendees to type in the questions in the Q&A section, and we would answer them at the end of the presentation. So over to you, Achal.
Thank you, Vaishali. Hello, everyone. This is Achal from FlytBase. In the next slide, let me just give you a quick outline of the complete webinar. So in this webinar, we would be talking about the FlytNow platform overview. We would be then introducing Defendry Aerial Platform, where Skylar is going to take us through the complete presentation of what Defendry offers, how they solve problem for the public safety, and then we're going to get into the challenges solved and the applications. Then we're going to jump into the safety solutions for law enforcement, and we'll be hearing from Mario about that. Plus, then after the end of it, we'll have the question and answers for everyone, and we would answer those questions, which you can type in right away. And in between, we would have some participant polls where we would be taking those questions to help us understand what drones you're using, what applications are you using it for, to help us better understand. So let's take a deep dive here. So we'll quickly introduce the FlytBase platform and the core components, and the reason where we are able to work with a lot of partners around the globe, and especially in this case Defendry, where we are able to help with the platform to deploy the automated drone solution with cloud-based integration. So FlytBase is a one-stop solution. It's a platform where you can bring any kind of drone and reach your end goal application. The reason for this is the extensive IoT architecture, which has been designed for drones. So it's a world's first Internet of Drones platform that allows easy deployment of intelligent drones connected with cloud-based applications. So if we look at the core architecture, there are three core components. The edge layer, which provides you the intelligence, the second cloud connectivity layer, and then the API layer. So looking at the edge layer, you have the core components which allow you to do integrations with different kind of drones. So FlytBase provides various drone adapters where you are able to work with different kind of drones, be DJI, Autopilot, PX4, Parrot, Autel, etc. So FlytBase already has drone adapters or drivers to speak with the specific drone and abstracts and functionality in the form of APIs. It can also integrate with various payloads and provide you the integration. We're gonna see a quick demonstration in this webinar how different payloads can be integrated with the drones. Similarly, we have intelligent plugins which allow you to automate drone operations, be it integration with the precision landing technology with FlytBase provides, collision avoidance, or integration with docking stations. Similarly, on the cloud part, the complete system has been designed where you can scale your drone operations. So the teams are increasing, the drone fleets are increasing, where you need to manage your operations efficiently. The cloud platform allows you to do live control, telemetry, and video for the complete solution. So you get ultra low latency video feed as well as live control on the dashboard where you can manage drones remotely. So large teams who have deployed multiple drones can easily manage operations using the cloud platform. So the complete platform has been designed for ultra low latency, and that is where it differs from standard IoT platforms. So when we look at drones, drone has very real-time component. Where you're flying a drone, you cannot afford to have latencies. So the complete protocol has been designed where you can fly the drones, you can get the live HD video feed and telemetry in latencies in order of few hundred milliseconds. Similarly, it also provides third-party integrations where we can integrate with third-party cloud applications for data analysis on the live video or on the post data analysis on the saved videos, as well as other ERP solution. On the API front, we provide various APIs for navigation, telemetry, payload, which helps our partners build automated workflows, be it public safety, inspections, security surveillance, etc. So just to take a deeper look on architecture level, the FlytBase core platform allows you to connect with your drones of your choice, connect with the different payloads that you want to do, as well as if you're looking to automate using docking stations, it provides all the drone adapters and payload managers. On top of that, we have intelligent modules like precision landing, integration with any kind of payload, collision avoidance, object tracking, etc. It also provides cloud connectivity where you can see live HD telemetry as well as video feed, remote control, and do it with the complete fleet. It also provides advanced modules for docking station integration, mission automation, mission scheduling, as well as integration with thermal cameras. And all this is encapsulated in the complete security and authentication layer, where you have token-based authentication, end-to-end encryption, as well as private secure deployment. Now, the complete platform provides you the ready applications as well as APIs and SDK, where you can integrate any kind of third-party solutions and integrate with your user or custom application. So this is about the core platform. And now we have the ready solution called FlytNow, which provides you the ready dashboards to readily integrate off-the-shelf or custom drones and manage your public safety operations. So be it mobile dashboard, cloud dashboard, edge modules, which go on the drone or the docking station to completely automate, like the solution for drone-in-the-box integration, precision landing, or directly connecting your drone to the cloud with the onboard computer. And then we provide APIs, as we just saw in the diagram, where you can have the navigation, telemetry, and video from the drone. So the complete solution have been used at various use cases, but primary use cases have been public safety, security surveillance, and remote site inspection, where you are deploying a large fleet of drones, pilots, or you're automating the complete operation, and that is where the FlytBase and FlytNow platform come into the picture. So this was about brief about FlytBase Platform, and we've been working with thousands of partners and customers all around the globe. Now, I would like to introduce Defendry. Before that, if we have a quick poll, Bashal, you can pull that up.
Yes, sure.
Perfect.
So the poll is in progress, and we have a few questions here. We would want to understand what are the drones that our attendees are currently using for law enforcement operations. We would encourage everyone to participate. And if they're already using any riot control products for law enforcement. So I'm just going to wait for another 15 seconds before we end the poll. I think we've got the response, and let me share the results with everyone. So currently public safety officials are not using any riot control products, at least our attendees are not, and they have already been using drones for law enforcement operations, and the most popular one being the DJI Mavic 2 series. There are the Matrix 300 RTK is also picking up, and a few of our attendees are also using custom-based drones. So thank you again for sharing this information with us.
Thank you.
Over to you, Skylar. Yeah.
Just before I hand on to Skylar, I wish to introduce Defendry from my end. So we have been working with Defendry for almost a year and more, and we have a close partnership with Defendry where we've been working on solutions to deploy drones for emergency response and public safety. And Defendry has deep expertise in drone add-ons as well as AI plus IoT applications. So I would like to now pass the baton to Skylar to help us understand more about Defendry and how they are helping public safety officials with their drones and the complete drone solution.
Perfect. Thanks, Shal. Truly appreciate it. Everybody out there, thank you for your time. I know you guys are busy, but we're really excited to roll this out. I mean, this is something that's never been done before with our aerial platform. So we think you're going to be pretty excited about it, and lots of benefits that we'll go through, but really excited to walk through this with you. So I'll tell you a little bit about Defendry on this next slide. So, we've been bringing innovative products to market since we launched the company about 2 years ago. And so we came to market, if you want to go to the next slide, please. We came to market with a product which is artificial intelligence combined with software for automation, again, in the defense category, which is recognizing weapons to mitigate loss of life and expedite emergency response for active shooter and gun violence types of situations. And so this is, an extension off of that. So we provide building security for private businesses, which integrates into your existing surveillance system. We can automatically detect weapons, lock the doors within milliseconds. We have human in the loop to verify threats. They call police and first responders, and then we send alerts down to the customer. So that's where we launched the company. And now this has accelerated on our aerial platform, which is geared towards law enforcement and potentially military. So go ahead to the next slide. So really the key challenges that law enforcement face today is you have, say, a riot situation, and this is definitely an application for riots, and we'll talk about some other case studies there. But today in a riot situation, law enforcement has to use, what they call a 40 mil launcher, which is like a giant gun that shoots canisters into the crowd. With that causes injuries, and obviously with injuring rioters or even innocent bystanders, you're going to have lawsuits and liability issues there. So that's one big issue that law enforcement is facing. And then accuracy, right? So when you launch a smoke or tear gas into a crowd, you have no control over it after it hits the ground. So things like wind and where you want to push a crowd to exit that area, you don't have any control. Once it's launched, it's up to the wind to take it. So you'll see how we can really solve that problem in accuracy. And then, officers are in harm's way, right? So in riot situations, you have a standoff and tensions rise. And so that can at times, increase additional conflict. And obviously our law enforcement is in harm's way. And so we'll show you how we can solve that problem as well. And then, rioters and hostage situations, they're getting smarter every time. And so they come prepared with gloves and things like that. And so they're, once it's launched into a crowd, they're throwing it back at law enforcement, right? So it really defeats the purpose. So we'll go through that. Next slide, please. So really, there's two core components of our aerial platform. On the left here is what we call it a remote drone piloting, and that's a software application. Mario's going to walk you through that, and then our precision aerial dispenser. So I'll walk you through that as well, which goes on police drones and how we dispense that. So Mario, I will turn it over to you for this next section on the remote piloting.
Thank you, Skylar. Next slide, please. So one of the important components of public safety is really officer safety. And what we've discovered is over time, drones have been improving. The technology is at a point right now where it is fairly simple to operate and fairly inexpensive. Two things that we're looking for are obviously the safety of a police officer, being able to have eyes in the sky and have situational awareness. And our platform allows us to basically do two things. One is give the situational awareness to the officer either through a phone app, a tablet, or also to a command center or somebody back at headquarters. On top of that, then we have the ability to actually have actionable items happening. So drones may be able to do a variety of functions that are useful for law enforcement. Next. So currently, the platform allows us to fly multiple drones simultaneously. We can not only control their flights, but we can actually watch the flights, record the flights, and monitor them. By centralizing, for example, at a control center, we can allow police officers to focus on what they're doing on the ground, while somebody back at headquarters can actually be watching and monitoring what's going on with the drones. The use of the aerial dispenser is a perfect example. This is something new, and it's something that really requires some oversight, and we believe that being able to give somebody at command center the ability to choose when to dispense is a really good idea. From the point of view of setting flight paths, the way the system works right now is that the operator of the drone can launch the drone from the location of a riot or a crime scene, or the drone can be launched from a box remotely. So you have a couple of different options there. And then the flight paths can actually be determined by either the operator or on the ground, or by the operator at headquarters. All along this time, then you can capture photos, you can capture videos, and they're streamed in real time to the cloud so that they can be archived and stored so that they can be reviewed at a later point. Next slide. So here are the three different items. So we have remote aerial enforcement. So we can get a drone up in the air, we can get situational awareness as a surveillance tool. We can see where the perpetrators are. We can see, for example, if it's fire, or for example, something simple as a missing person. If you utilize infrared cameras, you can spot them in the woods if needed. And the neat thing about this is that you can do it autonomously. You don't have to have somebody at the sticks trying to control the drone at the same time as they're trying to defuse a situation. Many police departments right now are using smaller drones to actually contact criminals and or, for example, a perfect example is a lot of criminals may jump fences into backyards, and a lot of danger comes from the police officers trying to expose them, get them out of that situation. And so the drones are actually a great tool to have eyes on the criminals. Next. So the other day we were experimenting with the software, and we had a pilot in Hawaii, and we had a drone here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and they were able to map a flight path in less than 2 minutes, and have the drone take off all by itself and fly a pattern. So right now we use cellular connectivity to do this remote piloting. In most cases, it'll be within a city or a town within a smaller area, but the capability is there. Next. The creation of flight paths, and I'll show you in a little video presentation following this, allows you to create some control over the flight path, but it also allows you to create a limitation so your drone stays within a specific space. So this geofencing is a very useful tool. Next. So part of our technology at Defendry has been incorporated and integrated into the FlytNow software, where we can dispense, for example, the tear gas or smoke remotely. So we have two ways of doing it. We have it through a small handheld remote control, or as I mentioned before, it can actually be dispensed through the dashboard at a command center or on a laptop in a police car. Next. So payload control is really interesting in that the FlytNow software permits us, depending on which platform, which drone we use, to have a variety of different payloads. In our case, for deterrence of crime, we can put high intensity lighting on the drone, so we can light any criminal activity or do surveillance. We have a speaker so that we can actually warn people or ask people to stand down. And then, of course, we have our dispensing of our tear gas and smoke. Next. So one of the biggest advantages of the platform is that we are live streaming. We're able to manipulate or control the cameras on the drones, so we can zoom into it. We can have either the pilot on the ground or operator on the ground controlling the camera, or it can be done remotely. This gives quite a bit of advantages. Obviously, in line of sight, they may not have a very good view, and again, depending on the situation that they're in, they may not have the focus that they need to spot something they do. But here we're able to stream in a fairly good pace, very high quality video back up to the cloud, and then we can actually share a link, and so any officers on the ground can easily, using their phone or a tablet, actually see what's going on the ground. Next. So this streaming of video or photos is collected. We have a cloud media library that you can use as a reference. So as you're recording, all of this is being collected for analysis later. This provides accountability, and of course, it's all safely tucked away in a secure cloud-based system. Next. So back to the aerial dispenser, and Skylar, I'll hand it off back to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Mario. Okay, so now we're going to walk through again the other core component of our aerial platform, which is the dispensing from a law enforcement drone. So next slide, please. So obviously, to the problems that we mentioned before, now with the Defendry Aerial Platform, you're able to precisely use things like crowd smoke, pepper spray, tear gas, and precisely dispense that where you want. And we'll talk through some of the benefits there a little bit further. But most importantly, right, we're keeping our law enforcement officers at a safe distance, either dispensing from the software that Mario just mentioned, and I'll tell you about being able to dispense with boots on the ground in an incident. And obviously the injuries, right? So now nothing's being dropped from this drone. It is keeps the canisters within the drone. all we're doing is dispensing that smoke. And the nice thing about it is the propellers and the wind really forces the downwind of that smoke, so you can precisely, put that smoke exactly where you want, to the problem I mentioned before of when you launch that. And then obviously the canister throwback, right? And so that eliminates that problem with riders throwing that back at law enforcement and the liability reasons for hitting somebody, right? So go ahead to the next slide, please. So, applications. So obviously riots and looting, this is obviously a great tool for that. And Mario mentioned this earlier, culprit or extraction or hostage situation. So instead of sending, humans and our officers and put them in harm's way, you're able to use technology for extraction type of situations. I was talking to an officer that we did a live demo for during our product launch, and he was absolutely just over the moon about this type of application. And he said, I would much rather come back to the station and say, hey, we lost a fairly expensive drone, than have to go to that officer's wife and say that her husband is not coming home today. And so that's really powerful when that officer said that. So drones are easily replaced, right? Humans are not. So, and again, I talked about, the precision of marking agents, again, pepper spray, smoke, tear gas. So whether it's fighting, violence, extraction situations, a lot of different applications that can be used by law enforcement. Next slide. So this gives you an example of kind of the payload of what we're putting on there. So the next slide, I'll show you a little bit in depth on what that looks like. But again, you can have smoke, whether it's inert or irritant smoke. So OC, CS, an aerosol spray, and you can also rotate the aerosol canister. And so with the smoke, basically you can pop off one of those smokes and it's different colors, or a tear gas. And then you can also mount like an MK9 or an aerosol, which is a pepper spray. And the nice thing about the pepper spray is that's burstable. So with smoke, once those pop, you're smoking out in that incident. With the pepper spray, if you have an isolated incident or just a single person, you can run up there and you can just do small bursts of pepper spray to help with that situation. Next slide. And so it has 4 canister slots on it. And so, like to the previous slide that I was just talking about, you can have either 4 canisters of smoke or tear gas mounted on there. And as you'll see in the demo, 1 can goes a long way. And I think in the demo we'll show, I believe, 2. But so you can mount 4 smokes on the legs of this. And this is a patented technology. I didn't mention that earlier. So we have the patent on dispersing less lethal munitions from a drone, and that we can go in a little bit more depth if we need to, but that it comes all inclusive with the circuit board, the 4G connection that Mario mentioned earlier. And then if you want to put a pepper spray on it, like I talked about earlier, you can mount 1 pepper spray on one side and 2 smokes on the other side to use either option. And then Mario talked about the software. So now you have 2 capabilities of dispensing those munitions, and you can have, again, boots on the ground, and this is what the remote looks like. So you can dispense from up to 600 feet away, again, doing this from a safe distance. So whether you have boots on the ground and you're up to 600 yards away, or you also have the software, say at command center or headquarters, piloting the drone and dispensing. So you have both options based on the situation. Next slide. And Mario, I'll turn this over to you to talk a little bit about drone compatibility.
So currently the product is adaptable and works perfectly with most DJI drone products. Currently we've been using the Mavic series, Mavic Enterprise, and then also the Matrix 300 as that is currently a preferred platform for law enforcement because it gives them the greatest amount of flexibility on payload for cameras and sensors and lights and speakers and all of that. So there are also other brands and that for example, where the software would work great, and Parrot is included. There's a couple of other ones, and then in some cases custom drones. Next. So one of the things that we'd like to do, I believe this is where we do the videos coming up next. So what I want to do is demonstrate something here. So this is a situation, and want to set the scenario here is somebody has called in from a Montessori school or church saying that there's a stranger in the property. And so I wanted to show here a very simple way of setting up a mission to do remote drone piloting in the situation. So basically you would choose a drone, you would choose from any drone that you have set up in your system. You can set up quite a few drones. And then you would actually go to a mission, the mission tab here, and you would get, based on the GPS signal from the drone itself, you would immediately get a situational awareness map for your, in this case, Google Maps, and you can create a mission. So in this case, I'm going to call it church. I'm going to go in there. You can set values for altitude, for speed, for your radius. And then you can actually do what we call finish actions, which is hover, start video, a variety of commands. And in this case, just to get more situational awareness, we're able to go in and get a satellite picture of the property. And so now here, I'm going to play around with the zoom here, but it allows you to start marking where you want the drone to go. So basically, it's very simple. Each click of the mouse or cursor allows you to set up the different parameters. You can see where you have your options, and you can set your other points that you want to fly your drone. And again, this takes just a few minutes to do. This can be done either by the officer on the ground on location, or it can be done remotely. So all the officer would have to do is set the drone up so that it can be launched. So I'll finish here, adding some more waypoints. Seemed to, so it came back, so we're still good. Once we complete our waypoints, we'll put a return waypoint here. Now we can go back and save this mission. And now we can launch this mission. So basically we go back to fly. This is where the software is actually pretty neat in that it allows you to take a look at what the camera view is in case you need to adjust the camera. It allows you to set it up into the mission mode, which allows you to fly the predetermined mission. If we had multiple missions, you could choose here. And then we do a checklist, which is really important, and a lot of pilots have asked for these. Once that checklist is completed, you can execute. And you'll see the drone will automatically take off. Because the drones have object detection, they will avoid collisions with any objects. But in this case here, we've gone at a high enough altitude, so we will avoid any obstacles. Now you'll see on the main screen here your flight path. But you can also go to the camera view, which is actually more useful. And meanwhile, this can also be recorded. So if you press the red button there on the bottom right of the screen, you're now recording. At any given time, the remote pilot can take over from the autonomous flight. Bottom center of the screen, you'll see a little hand on a joystick. So you can take over, and or the pilot on the ground can take over. So if there's an issue, we have built in a couple of different safety measures for that. So you can look down at the ground, you can get some detail, you can zoom in, you can take a picture if needed, and meanwhile all of this is being sent up to the cloud. So here now we can go back after the flight and we can go through our archives. Our archives are all dated and time-stamped, and then you can review the flight. You can share these videos with other members of law enforcement, and basically you have access to them for as much time as you need to archive them. So here is you'll see it just under this picture window. You'll see the speaker, the remote controls, and the box for if you utilize the landing pad for your system. That's all integrated into the software.
Yeah, so let's dive into now the aerial platform, the precision aerial platform. So we're going to show you, and this is from our launch event, which is a little over a month ago. And and this was, as you can tell from the trees, this is even on a windy day, which was nice to show how, even with wind, how you can precisely control. And what we're seeing here is the actual pepper spray. So you're seeing these short bursts of the pepper spray on this mannequin. And you can see obviously how windy it is, which is rare in Arizona, but using the wind to your advantage in that situation of, pepper spray. And then this is showing how quick and easy it is to change out your canisters of either smoke or pepper spray. So you can easily twist that. It's got an easy clip that goes on there, and you can switch these out in a matter of 60 to 90 seconds at tops. So you can quickly get your drone back in the air for another mission. And now what we're going to show is launching of the crowd smoke. And I believe we're going to do 2, if I remember correctly. And again, so this is using even the wind to your advantage. And you'll see here in a second, how you can precisely do this. And really it's using, a zigzag pattern. And you can fly these, depending on wind and current conditions. You dispense anywhere from 25 feet up to, past 45 feet. And again, see here with the wind, now we launch 2 canisters of smoke and use that wind to push the crowd where you want them to go, like I mentioned earlier. So whether you want to do a circular pattern and close the group in, whether you want to do a zigzag pattern and push the crowd towards a certain direction so that they disperse or leave the scene. And you can see there with two canisters, you're gonna get everybody that you need to. So, Mario, anything to add there?
Nope. I think that you can mix up products, so you could actually have pepper spray and smoke, one on each side, and then so that way you can dispense a warning. The drones, actually you didn't hear it there, but the drone, you're supposed to warn the crowd before you're going to do anything to them. So our speaker allows you to do that through our software, and then you can take measures, from simple to more severe.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you for this demo, Mario and Skylar. That was a great demo and helped us understand how we can use Defendry system and how public safety officials can use the Defendry system to remotely deploy this and get the value out of it. So thank you for that. Now we would move to the part where we would talk about the FlytNow value proposition. So highlighting the things where FlytNow adds value to the complete system. So you already saw the dashboard and the integration. So again, we have been designing the complete solution where we can integrate with various use cases. So we are working on the complete solution where we are able to provide you best-in-class user experience, integration with different payloads, and all keeping in mind the functionality, reliability, and usability in mind. So public safety officials or remote operators can easily use the dashboard, and you can see how intuitive it is to get started and operate using the interfaces. Security is a great concern, so that is where we have designed the complete protocol, the complete platform, which allows you to have end-to-end encryptions. You have functionalities to store the data on the private cloud or a private server. So this is something which can be directly stored on a private cloud. The solution has been already deployed on the US-based servers, so the public safety officials can rely on the security standards. As well as we offer end-to-end data encryptions, two-factor authentication, single sign-on, and granular permissions. So even the large organizations who are looking to adopt that, they do not have to worry about security and reliability. The complete system with Defendry comes with extensive documentation and support. So you're able to get the basic training, you're able to integrate the hardware if you have existing drones that can be easily integrated, and we provide the complete documentation with the product. We're also looking to work with customers across the globe, and that is the reason we are also providing now a FlytNow in different languages. So we have already integrated Spanish support, and we are to integrate more and more languages, so even local authorities can easily adopt the solution. And with our customers and partners, we understand they'd like to offer a complete integrated solution. So we've been also offering customer branding, where we can rebrand the complete dashboard as per your own logo, so you can create your own user experience. So that's how we close it, and this is where now we are headed with the future of autonomy, where Defendry and FlytNow has been closely working to integrate these drones for automated operations. So this is where FlytNow's flight automation is coming to picture, where you can seamlessly integrate these drones with docking stations and have a complete flight autonomy and deploy them on demand. And Defendry's AI threat detection is going to help you do the added intelligence with the data you're getting. So you're able to detect intruders, you're able to detect people with gun, or you're able to detect different kind of objects that needs to be integrated, and you can raise those alarms on the dashboard. Mario, if you have anything to add here, I would like to quickly learn more about Defendry AI threat detection.
Yeah, so currently our product line does have gun detection. In the future, we will be able to do the feeds from the videos on the drones themselves. So, again, we're expanding the product line to be an overall protection solution. And as we all know, these days with all of the mass shootings and things, this is a product whose time has come.
Great, thank you, Mario. Right, so this was the complete demo with the Defendry platform, and now we open up for the questions answered. Vaishali, if you have any polls to put up.
Yes, sure. I think we run a quick poll, and before we move on to the Q&A, this is more towards automating the entire solution, as Achal spoke. So I'm launching the poll, and we would want to understand from the attendees if they're considering a complete drone in a box solution for public safety operations. So we are wanting to understand whether the current operations are manual or automation is the way forward, and how people are willing to adopt it. I will hold on for another 15 seconds before we close on this poll. So I think we have a couple of responses. I'll just share the results quickly. So most of our attendees are definitely considering using a complete automated drone in a box solution for public safety operations. And a few of them are not. However, we would definitely believe that adoption is going to happen in the future. And that's how we would like to close this webinar for today and move on to the Q&A. So I'll start by asking the questions. I think I'll start by asking Mario and Skylar. So we have a question from the attendee. The current FAA regulations in the US do not allow multiple drones to be operated simultaneously by a single operator. Is there a special waiver exclusive to the law enforcement, or is it due to the autonomy?
Actually, there is a waiver to do that. I think most of you have seen those drone exhibits where there's 1,000 drones up in the sky. Those all have a waiver, and those are all completely autonomous. So they are available. If you go to the FAA website, you can actually see what all the waivers are, and that's one of them.
Thanks, Mario. We have another question on whether the spray mechanism used is automated or manual.
Yep. So that's manual, and that's either through the remote on scene or through the software dashboard.
That's a safety mechanism so that you have complete control of when and how it's dispensed.
I'll move on to Achal for a while. So Achal, we have a question where one of our attendees is asking if you could explain a little more on how to control several drones at the same time with a single operator.
Sure. So FlytNow allows to have the complete fleet management where you can set drone on automated missions. So one is if you're doing a waypoint mission, the drones should be on the automated path, and you can open the multicam video feed. So like you're seeing here, you can see all the videos and telemetry on the one screen. Secondly, if you have already pilots who are flying the drone manually, you can go to the multicam screen where you can see the cockpit view of each and every drone. So that is how you're able to view the live data. So you have the automated option to do the fleet management where you can set the path and launch the drone for automated mission. If you're doing it semi-autonomously where it is being flown manually, you can remotely view all the data on the single screen.
Thank you, Achal. I think another question is, could public safety officials integrate the solution with their existing drones?
Right. So from the software side, of course, this is all already integrated, but I think this is more for the Defendry system in terms of the hardware. So Skylar, Mario.
So the platform, actually, if you already have a Matrix 300 or a larger drone, I think it's Matrix 200 and above, the platform can easily be adapted and integrated into your existing drones.
So Skylar and Mario, we have some questions as to how can a public safety official start a drone program in the US. If you could maybe share some insights.
Sure. We've actually got some resources here in Scottsdale that are available. If you want to send us a note, we'll make those resources available to you. We work with the police departments here, and one of the programs is actually the Scottsdale PD drone program, where they have a third-party educational and training program. So if you send us a note, we'll forward that info to you.
Sure, and I think we also have a few questions around the safety of the complete system. If you could throw some insights there as well.
So the interesting thing is that we have more safety. I think we've doubled the safety factor in that not only do you have an operator on the ground, but you have a backup in the operator that's on the dashboard back at headquarters, let's say. So at any given time, the drone's control can be taken over. And I think that's something that you won't find anywhere else. We're really pleased with that ability to at any time. So for example, if a police officer finds themselves in a riot and they're either overcome by the crowd or they're incapacitated, then that drone can actually be controlled by the dashboard operator and then taken to a safe place. The other thing we do, one of the things is we have eyes in the sky. So when we do send out, like for example, the Matrix 300, that we also have maybe one of the smaller drones flying, we call it cloud cover, just to have eyes on that drone. So we have a redundancy, situational awareness of what's going on around the larger drone. So we have a good list of things that are safety related that really differentiate the product from anything else that's out there. And as a matter of fact, right now there is no platform like ours that we've seen.
And I'll add to that just a little bit, Mario, and safety for the crowd, right? So like I mentioned this earlier, today they're launching canisters into the crowd and hitting people. So that's also eliminating that, right? And in terms of the drone itself, safety for the drone itself, you use the wind conditions, and you're not flying most of the time you're not flying directly over the crowd or the threat. You are doing passes in a zigzag pattern so that and at a safe enough distance height wise so that they're not getting rocks and things thrown at the drone.
Thank you, Skylar and Mario. I think on the same line of thought, we have a question from an attendee, where if the rioters toss items or rocks at the drone, is there any software add-on to detect or avoid incoming foreign objects? Achal, maybe you could share some highlights. Yeah.
Right. So at this moment, no, we do not have any add-on which can do so. This is a very real-time component. But yeah, based on the use cases, this is something where we can leverage the onboard sensors which are on the drone, as well as the live video feed to detect. But today, that would be something where you'd have to have proper SOPs where you're flying at a certain height, so that can be avoided.
Yeah, and so even the Matrix 300, which is a fairly large drone, at 30 to 40 feet is a very difficult target. And so one of the SOPs, for example, is that drone is in constant movement. And then also having eyes on that drone and the crowd itself can actually enable the operators to respond. So if somebody starts throwing things at, we remove the drone from the area, and that's part of the SOPs.
Thank you again. We have another question from our attendee, which asks, will the drone be able to do the gun detection, or will this be with separate cameras? Mario, if you would like to take that question.
So we are working on, currently we are working on a system. It's not going to be ready for a few months. Again, it's a project where we'll be able to do the gun detection from the drone itself. So right now, one of the things we're working with, and we'll be working with the FlytNow team, is on the amount of data on streaming that we can do, and if we can do the analysis of that on board the drone. Currently, there's the technology is not quite there to do it on board, but we're looking into possibly doing it externally once the live video feed is streamed.
Right. Yeah, on the same lines, this is something where we have been building the complete architecture. So this is something that we're going to work on, where you have an ultra low latency live video feed where we can leverage Defendry's AI platform to detect guns detection and raise those alerts. Similarly, if this has to be done on the edge, then leveraging high compute boards simply from, say, NVIDIA Jetson could be mounted, and you can do it at the edge level as well. So this is something which is on the cards. You can stay tuned, and this is something that will be coming in next few months.
I think we have another question on is the solution available as a service or a product? Mario, if you would want to go first, and then Achal can talk about the software.
Skylar, how do you want to answer that one?
Yeah. So for the actual dispensing, that is a upfront charge. We're flexible on that piece if they require a monthly model or an upfront CapEx versus OpEx. So we can do both actually, but traditionally the hardware is an equipment charge. The software is a monthly, as a service charge. And that includes warranty, training, user guides, 24/7 support, et cetera, all in the price.
Right. And yes, adding to the software side, of course, it's a subscription based software where you continue to get all the major updates that come in as we integrate or develop our modules and upgrade those modules in terms of hardware and software, you can subscribe to the Fleet software and use it on the subscription. So be it monthly or a yearly subscription or a multi-year subscription, you can go in any method.
We also have another question for you, Achal. I think this is from the software side. So the operating range of the drone, does that depend from the on the location of the box?
Right. So this totally depends on the drone. If you're using a drone which cannot take an onboard computer, then that has to be connected with the docking station or the ground station for the internet connectivity. So the off-the-shelf drones like DJI Mavic series, Phantom, or it could be Parrot Nafis, Autel, etc. You are binded by the range, but of course, right now these kind of solution gives you miles of range even from your ground station. So you'd easily have few miles of radius covered from a single docking station. With the bigger drones, you also have options to have directly 4G connectivity, be it the Matrix series from DJI or your custom drones built over using your Cube Pilot or Pixel drones. You would be able to directly connect to the cloud and fly beyond visual line of sight as well in the long range. Of course, you would need the necessary waivers to do so, but technology is already there.
Thank you, Achal. I think we do have a few other questions. However, we are up on time, and I would like all the panelists to share some closing thoughts before we close or end the webinar. The remaining questions, we'll answer them over email. And thank you everyone again for participating. So Achal, over to you.
Thank you, Vaishali. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Mario and Skylar, and the complete Defendry team. And this is where we are jointly collaborating to solve a real world problem where public safety officials can use the drones and the added technology as a force multiplier. And that is where we really appreciate our partnership with Defendry to get this done.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate this opportunity.
Yep, and last closing thoughts for me. Thanks FlytBase team. You guys have been great. And if anybody has any questions, my contact info is right there. Give me a call, shoot me an email. Happy to answer any questions. And whether you're interested in our partner program, become an authorized partner for your end user customers, or you're an end user. Let us know. Happy to talk with you. And thanks for everybody's time.
Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us this webinar. Have a great day out there.